assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and drug use.
I'm sorry, I'm just like really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck during those years. You're still stuck 21 years later.
One of hip-hop's most untouchable legends just turned on his own, and the names he's giving the FBI could end careers, fortunes, and reputations overnight. Sources close to the federal probe into Sean Diddy Combs tell us that Snoop Dogg is no longer just a bystander. He's a cooperating insider, a man who was once inside the circle, who lived through the parties, the whispers, and the blackmail, and who now appears ready to tell investigators exactly how far the operation went. This isn't just about Diddy's 50-month sentence for transporting individuals for illicit encounters. It's about a system that has quietly shaped the entertainment industry for decades, and the one man who may be ready to expose it. By the time Diddy was moved to FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey in late October 2025, the case had already spread beyond the music world. The court documents painted a picture of coercion, controlled substances, and exploitation hidden beneath glamour. But what made the room go silent was the leak of a sealed affidavit naming Snoop Dogg as a cooperating witness. For years, he'd brushed off rumors about those Hamptons white parties. Now, insiders claim he's handed investigators a list of attendees, financial trails, and internal footage that could connect some of the most powerful names in music and politics to the events at the center of Diddy's empire.
So I consider my rap as a conversation more or less than a rap, because if you take the music off and just listen to my words, it's like I'm conversating with you rather than screaming and hollering over the music.
To understand the weight of this, we have to trace their history. Back in the early 90s, Snoop and Diddy were rivals in the East Coast-West Coast feud. Diddy's Bad Boy Records on one side, Suge Knight and Snoop under Death Row on the other. The Diddy's feud was bloody, symbolic, and for years it defined the sound of American hip-hop. But time changes everything. By the mid-2000s, Snoop began appearing at Diddy's signature white parties, lavish affairs in the Hamptons, where Paris Hilton, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, and even political families mingled in identical white outfits under the pretense of unity. Snoop was there, bridging old rivalries, laughing on red carpets. But according to former assistants, those parties weren't just parties. They were recruiting grounds for Diddy's inner world. It's the hypocrisy that now stings most. Publicly, these events were marketed as exclusive celebrations of success. Privately, witnesses describe corridors of secrecy, rooms where phones were collected, where staff were instructed to see nothing. Cassie Ventura's 2023 lawsuit broke the silence, alleging years of control and forced participation in what prosecutors later called freak-offs. That word became shorthand for Diddy's hidden world, intimate performances fueled by substances and surveillance. When CNN released the 2016 footage showing Diddy attacking Ventura in a Los Angeles hotel hallway, it wasn't just the public that gasped. Insiders say that video is what pushed Snoop into silence for nearly a decade. He had seen similar things, and for the first time, he realized the system protecting Diddy could protect no one.
Court has just ended, and I'm just getting word right now that we are hearing that Kid Cudi, who is going to be an important witness in this case, that he possibly is going to take the stand tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting testimony, because this is a situation in which Sean Combs had said that he was jealous and accusing Cassie Ventura of cheating on him with Kid.
Then came the explosion, literally. In December 2011, after Cassie briefly dated Kid Cudi, his car was set ablaze in his driveway. Cudi confirmed it years later, calling it a message. Investigators now see that event as part of a wider pattern of intimidation meant to keep associates in line. That pattern allegedly extended to business partners, stylists, and artists on Diddy's own label. And through it all, Snoop stayed publicly neutral, until now. Sources connected to the case say that federal agents approached him as early as 2022, while he was negotiating ownership of Death Row Records. They believed he knew how the network operated, not as a criminal gang, but as a structure. Assistants handling travel, staff coordinating substances, executives laundering reputation through charity.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, like, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
The pivot came in 2024 when Christina Koram, Diddy's former chief of staff, testified that a pink-tinted powder was distributed at parties to keep guests relaxed and obedient. She claimed she was ordered to procure it for both Diddy and visiting celebrities. That testimony reportedly rattled several figures who had once laughed off the allegations. Because this wasn't hearsay, it was logistics, and when investigators followed the paper trail, they allegedly found Snoop's name listed among guests at multiple events now under federal review. By all accounts, his cooperation began soon after, through an attorney-brokered agreement that promised leniency on unrelated financial inquiries. But Snoop's connection wasn't just attendance. He had once shared stages and deals with Diddy, and according to people familiar with the investigation, he had access to the guest manifests and surveillance contracts that made those parties so protected. What began as a lifestyle now looks like a controlled environment, one where guests were tested, recorded, and in some cases, compromised. We can't confirm which celebrities are mentioned in the affidavit, but the pattern emerging is unmistakable. The network the feds wanted wasn't limited to Diddy's circle. It reached into music labels, streaming companies, and entertainment executives who benefited from his silence.
She saw no way out other than doing what he told her to do. He had mentally controlled her. It's like a pimp. Diddy had pimp potential. He had her mind messed up where it controlled her.
The implications are staggering. Usher, once portrayed as Diddy's mentee, was named in testimony describing an assault on Cassie in a public restaurant in 2010. Witness Dawn Richard told jurors she saw Diddy hit Ventura while several celebrities, including Usher, sat frozen. No one intervened, she said. Meanwhile, Young Miami, who dated Diddy between 2021 and 2023, has faced new questions about her role. She publicly denied knowledge of any wrongdoing, but lawsuits suggest her cousin was involved in procuring party supplies. Insiders claim the line between partner and facilitator blurred as Diddy's empire expanded. Then there's the resurfaced case from the 2000 VMAs afterparty, in which an unnamed minor accused both Diddy and another male celebrity, later identified as Jay-Z, of Simmons' assault. That case was quietly dropped. But in light of recent indictments, attorneys are now reviewing whether the same network of handlers and security staff could have been involved. For years, these stories existed in isolation. But once Snoop's name appeared in federal files, investigators began connecting the dots.
Been afraid of coming forward. They've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
Behind all of it is the same question. How did so many powerful people attend the same events, witness the same behavior, and still claim ignorance? Former assistants described nights when high-profile guests, actors, models, even royals, would walk through candlelit corridors, while staff carried trays of sparkling drinks mixed with unlabeled powders. Photos from those nights show smiling faces, but according to witnesses, what happened off-camera was far darker. The freak-offs weren't spontaneous. They were staged productions, scheduled weekly, filmed, and archived. Those archives are now evidence. Snoop's decision to talk has reportedly fractured the industry. Some of his longtime peers view it as betrayal. Others see it as survival. Suge Knight, speaking from prison earlier this year, accused Snoop of destroying the legacy of Death Row Records. What Suge didn't know was that Snoop was already in talks with investigators at that point. People close to him described months of back-and-forth negotiations, balancing loyalty with self-preservation. He'd built his brand as the lovable icon who had transcended his past. Now, the same charm that made him America's cool uncle could become the government's key to dismantling an entire culture of silence.
Continue to engage in all these freak-offs with him, and he sounds really pissed off.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening.
We can see why the stakes are higher than ever. The sealed affidavit reportedly details private communications between Diddy, executives at Bad Boy Entertainment, and several event planners linked to the white parties. Those communications outline a logistics system, drivers, hotel bookings, substance suppliers, that operated across Los Angeles, Miami, and Ibiza. Federal agents are said to believe it functioned like an enterprise. If that's true, Diddy's conviction might just be the beginning, and Snoop's cooperation the trigger for a wave of new subpoenas. And yet, we're still watching the dominoes fall. As word of Snoop's involvement spread, names that once felt untouchable began trending in court filings and anonymous leaks. Usher's silence during Ventura's assault is being re-examined. Young Miami's name appears in a separate civil claim about substance distribution. Jay-Z's 2000 case has resurfaced in online forums tied to victims' rights groups. Every revelation draws another circle, another connection, back to those same glittering nights in the Hamptons and Los Angeles. For the first time, Hollywood seems unsure whom to defend.
And I try to, better myself every day and try to grow to be a better musician, a better person, and just be, more in control of the power.
Snoop Dogg didn't just decide to talk. He's been preparing this for years. And federal prosecutors, according to insiders, never wanted just one man. They wanted the entire ecosystem that enabled him. The question now is not whether Diddy's empire will fall, but how many others will fall with it. If Snoop's talking, who's next? And when the indictments finally drop, will Hollywood admit what it always knew, or will it keep protecting its own? The first arrests could happen within weeks, and the names on the list will shock us. Investigators have quietly expanded the RICO net, and this time, it isn't aimed only at Sean Diddy Combs. These laws are designed for enterprises that run on silence. That means anyone who helped manage the parties, shielded the schedules, or ignored the warnings could be next. We're no longer looking at one man's downfall. We're looking at an industry that may have enabled it. The FBI's task force isn't asking who knew. They're asking who profited. The implications are already visible. Usher, once seen as Diddy's protege, is now being questioned about why he remained silent for so long. He didn't just witness the 2010 assault on Cassie Ventura at a restaurant, according to witness testimony. He stayed silent for 14 years, even after the 2016 hotel footage surfaced. Legal analysts say that silence alone could be enough to draw scrutiny under the aiding and abetting clauses in federal law. For the first time, celebrities who were simply in the room might face the same scrutiny as those who orchestrated what happened behind closed doors.
Responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life, so he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive drug use.
And then there's Young Miami, whose name continues to circulate through witness statements and lawsuits. The narrative forming around her is darker than most expected. She was never charged, but according to a 2024 filing, several plaintiffs described a young female artist close to Diddy who allegedly arranged deliveries of party supplies to private gatherings. Insiders claim those deliveries weren't sparkling drinks or flowers. They were substances designed to keep people compliant. It's the kind of allegation that could turn a former companion into a crucial witness. She insists she wasn't around at the time, but the timing of the lawsuits suggests otherwise. Jay-Z's name has also re-entered the story. That long-buried VMA after-party lawsuit from 2000 has reappeared in federal archives, raising new questions about what really happened that night. The original filing was dismissed, but attorneys representing multiple plaintiffs are now seeking to reopen it under the expanded RICO framework. If that happens, it could mark the first time the government directly ties Diddy's criminal conviction to a broader system of enablers, one that stretched across music, film, and corporate sponsorships. As one former promoter put it, these weren't accidents. They were logistics.
When you get to be the age that we are and you get to become as successful as we are, you have to start doing some things that matter for the future.
But perhaps the most strategic figure in this storm is Snoop Dogg himself. For years, he stayed quiet, loyal to an unspoken code that kept the industry sealed off from the outside world. So why is he talking now? Sources close to the negotiations say his cooperation isn't just moral, it's tactical. Federal investigators reportedly offered a form of conditional immunity, protection in exchange for full cooperation and detailed testimony about Diddy's network. One insider described it as a survival deal. But he's not just helping prosecutors. He's positioning himself as the architect of a purge that will reshape hip-hop's power structure for a generation.
That he would be all right.
Dear God, let this gangbanger
please
beat this case.
I thought that right. Because I thought he had so much. He's one of the most famous human beings on the face of the earth.
100%.
And the thing about Snoop, I thought his heart was in the right place, but I thought theirs wasn't. Never take nothing from them.
The whispers go even further. According to a high-level industry contact, Snoop's deal guarantees immunity only if his testimony leads to at least 3 major convictions. That clause, if true, turns his cooperation into a countdown. He must deliver names, and if he fails, his protection could vanish. That possibility explains the silence from other big stars. They don't know who's already been named. The fear is palpable. Record executives, stylists, and former assistants have begun lawyering up, while streaming platforms quietly review their contracts with bad boy-affiliated artists. The walls are closing in fast. Behind the headlines, the legal math is devastating. Diddy's 2025 conviction was only for transportation to facilitate illicit encounters. But more than 100 lawsuits remain pending. Each one extends the timeline, adds new witnesses, and draws new lines between celebrity circles and corporate infrastructure. What started with Cassie Ventura's bravery has become an unraveling of an entire entertainment hierarchy. The federal prosecutors don't have to prove everyone guilty of the same act. They only have to prove that they were part of the machine that kept it running.
It's not that I want to become Snoop Dogg on a reggae track. I want to bury Snoop Dogg and become Snoop Lion.
And that's what makes Snoop's role so explosive. We've always known him as the cultural survivor, the man who escaped the chaos of the 90s, reinvented himself, and became the smiling face of hip-hop respectability. But according to people inside the investigation, that reinvention may have come with a cost. He's giving them the map, one source said. He knows where the tapes are, who handled the money, and who handled the cleanup. It's not hard to see why the feds want him. He bridges both eras, the old street empire and the new corporate elite. We can't ignore the bigger question anymore. How did this culture of protection last so long? For decades, the music business thrived on access and loyalty, where fame excused behavior and NDAs replaced conscience. The same studios that celebrated empowerment were quietly financing settlements. The same award shows that honored Diddy's success were honoring the system that shielded him. Now those same executives are watching their phones, waiting for subpoenas that could arrive any day. And somewhere in New Jersey, Diddy sits in Fort Dix, watching the empire he built disintegrate, name by name. As we wait for the next round of indictments, we have to wonder how deep this goes. If Snoop's testimony really exposes the web behind Diddy's empire, we're not just talking about one fallen mogul. We're talking about a reckoning that could rewrite the story of modern entertainment. The question isn't whether more names will fall, it's whether we're ready to face the truth when they do. Because when those names drop, will we be shocked? Or will we finally admit we've been looking the other way for years? Until then, we'll be watching every leak, every court date, every whisper from the inside. Stay tuned, stay alert, and remember, nothing in this story is as simple as it seems. What do you think? Who's next on the list? We'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay curious.